Bibles, if not, that's fine, I'll read it. But I want you to join me in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And it's like a really common verse. Probably you know it pretty well. I'm going to read it out of the Message Bible. So I like it. So it says, "If I speak with human eloquence and angelic ecstasy, but don't love, I'm nothing but the creaking of a rusty gate. And if I speak God's word with power, revealing all his mysteries and making everything plain as day, and if I have faith that says to a mountain, jump, and it jumps, but I don't love, I'm nothing. If I give everything I own to the poor and even go to the stake to be burned as a martyr, but I don't love, I've gotten nowhere. So no matter what I say, what I believe, what I do, I'm bankrupt without love." I love this last part, I'll repeat it. So no matter what I say, what I believe, and what I do, I am bankrupt without love. So, why I came to Bethel, it's quite an experience. I was living a life really religious back home. And in my church, we had teams from Bethel coming down to La Paz. Crystal was part of one. And I got to meet a lot of people from Bethel back then, and I admired them so much. I was like, they have something that I'm missing, and I don't know what that is, and I want it. And I want it so bad. And I couldn't put my finger to it. I was just like, I just want it, but somehow I felt unworthy of having it. I thought I didn't deserve it. So I would go on outreach with them. I was the translator for the team, so I would be in outreach and they'd be like, "Hey, come on, do this, and join us here." And I'll be so afraid. I was like, "No, I can't do it. No, I'm not qualified to do that." And but I decided since I was 13 years old that I wanted to go to Bethel just to find out what was that thing that I was missing. So I did, and I came to Bethel. And I thought what I was missing was a crazy encounter where I was gonna see thunders and lightnings and a big angel will speak to me with this strong voice telling me what to do. And I don't know, I was thinking that I was missing the gifts of the Spirit. I was like, oh, I'm missing miracles, and I'm missing to speak in tongues, and I'm not doing a good job in here, and I'm not doing a good job in there. And but my first encounter in first year was one day I woke up really late to school. And I ran into the shower, and as I'm getting back to my room, I opened my room, and honestly, it was a mess. It was my first year living out of my house without my parents, so I was kind of breaking the rules. I had a mess in my room, and God just told me with this gentle voice, "That's the way you treat yourself?" And I was just like, what are you talking about? And that question just opened up this huge conversation with God, where he was telling me, hey, the way I treat you in heaven, it's way different.
Wow, good.
How are you going to see yourself? How are you going to treat yourself? Don't expect people to treat you different than how you treat yourself. And it just really impacted me, and I was I thought I was missing the gifts of the Spirit, but the truth was that I didn't know who I was. See, what I was missing was his love. Love is like the edge of the puzzle. When you're trying to make a puzzle come together, you go first for the edges, so you get a picture of how big is the puzzle, and makes all the pieces come in the right place. So if you're missing the edges, it'll be harder for you to bring the puzzle together. So that's how love is. If you don't have the edges, you won't have the picture.
Awesome.
Love is like the wind for a kite. You can run all you want with the kite, trying to make it fly, but if you don't have the wind, it won't get far. The gifts are really important. So keep seeking for them. Don't stop. If you want miracles, go after that. If you want the gift of prophecy, go after that. But don't ever forget love. My second encounter was a week before Valentine's Day. Well, it wasn't my second, but the second most important one. It was a week before Valentine's Day last year. And I was in a worship night with Spanish-speaking people, so we were singing Spanish. And we started just singing out of love to God, and we're just like loving on Him. And the only words that could come out of my mouth was like, Jesus, you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. And then I heard this question, and He said, would you go out on a date with me? And I'm like, what? That's so funny. And I actually sang back to Him, Jesus, you're so funny. And He's like, yeah, I know I'm funny, but this time I'm talking serious. I'm like, okay, so tell me, I want you to go on a date with me. Would you do that? Just like, okay, this is going to be weird, but okay. So I asked Him, how's this going to look like? He told me, I want you to, he told me, this date is going to be a 7 days long date. I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then he said to me, well, I want you to dress up every single day because you're on a date with me. I'm like, okay. And then he's like, just listen to me, whatever I have to say in the day. I'm like, okay. That seems pretty simple. So it's pretty cool. Like every day I'll go out of my house and he'll be like, hey, I want you to look at the sky right now. Like, okay, look at the sky. He's like, hey, that's for you. Wow. I just made the sky such as beautiful as today just for you. Wow. And then he'll show me trees, and he'll show me flowers or birds, and he'll like, hey, that's just for you. Wow. He